I stand before you armed with truth. For too long, our country was stolen by politicians. But you elected a vision, a cure, a road to paradise.
What is going on, guys? It's your boy MC Fixer and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking all things Far Cry 6 and how I feel after playing the game for the last 35 hours. Reviews like these only happen because of our Patreon supporters, so a big shout out to anyone supporting over on patreon.com/mcfixer. If you want to get your content early and help support the show, that is where to go. Also a big shout out to Ubisoft providing me an early code for the game. Let's jump straight into my thoughts on Far Cry 6.
Fucking say something.
Far Cry 6 is all about immersing yourself as a guerrilla in Yara. It is about taking down outposts, it is about liberating the country and building it back to what it once was before there was a dictator taking over this beautiful country. First things first, who are you going to play as? You play as the character Danny Rojas, who can either be male or female, depending on which you choose.
They got my name wrong. Danny, you could help Libertad.
Danny Rojas to me is someone that I personally struggle to connect with on a personal level. Through my 35 hours with this character who I chose the female option for, not to say that the dialogue isn't fantastic in terms of its performance, but the actions and consequences of your character and what they're going through never quite hit a point for me, whether that be bad or good, sad or happy, funny or dry. Danny Rojas as a character to me in this world starts off extremely strong, and I have a fun time being around her at the start as you're getting to know her and getting to know who she was for me. But throughout the rest of the game, after the few opening hours, I really did struggle to connect with the character and to see things from their point of view. Though you can tell there's a kind heart there and you can tell there is a powerful character, I never feel like you quite get enough of that from the character. The cast around you speaks, and though there is dialogue and though you are saying things, sometimes Danny just never quite says enough, never quite says what they believe to be the right thing. It always kind of feels like as you're playing through Far Cry 6, you're being spoken at, not spoken to, and you're never quite given enough free reign to make decisions based on what you want to do with the story. At the heart of Far Cry 6, this is the story of you taking over Yara, or taking back Yara, some would say. You have a diverse group of characters around you that will be there as your vocal point as you play through the game. You will be recruiting members of the public, you will be saving people, you will be doing missions for the higher ups of different areas, and all of that is fun. And there are some real great characters that you will come across during your time in Far Cry 6. That being said, like I said beforehand, Danny to me just isn't one that really punches you in the face and gives you that level of, yes, I am behind you, I believe in everything you are, and I want to share this story with you. Nah, there are a few other characters that I want to try and keep this review as spoiler free as possible, so I'm not going to mention who they are, but there are a few characters that you meet along your journey that really do give you a sense of pride and joy, and there is a level of humour there with some characters that made me laugh out loud. The world is filled with beauty and the world is filled with stories, and it's down to you to go out there and find them, whether that is through your main missions that you are doing, or maybe it's some of the side missions that you'll be taking part in. Maybe you'll take some pride in doing some of the treasure hunt missions. There is a lot to do in Far Cry 6 and you will find some good stories told here, but the main story for me isn't the one that I fell in love with. All of the marketing towards Far Cry 6 has obviously been centered around Anton the Dictator and his son Diego, two characters that are some of the best moments in Far Cry 6 in my opinion. For me, Anton is a complex character that even to that, the game is done for me. I cannot put my finger on. I cannot decide whether I agreed with his methods or disagreed, whether he was doing it for the love of this country or whether he was just a terrible human being. And that is something that I feel like a bad character is supposed to be. They're meant to be levels of complexity to them, like an onion, some would say. Shout out Shrek. To me, I love what we got here. I just wish there was more. I feel like that has been the story of my life when it comes to Far Cry games. The main bad guy is the character I want to spend as much time with because they are the most interesting part of the Far Cry series usually. And this game is no different. Diogo and Anton are the most interesting parts of this game. But I don't think we get enough of them. They come through in its story after taking part in some of your main missions, and I do think this game does a way better job than maybe Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 5 in giving you enough story here. That's something that I really disliked in the previous Far Cry games, that I just didn't get enough of the bad guy that I wanted. This game, I do think you get quite a bit of him, but being selfish, I would have liked a lot more of Anton and Diego and to have spent a little bit more time with them. I would love to have been in their shoes to see what they were going through on a day-to-day basis. What is it like to be a dictator? And really diving deep in the methods in which they were doing this bad stuff. You don't quite get that, but what you do get is a fantastic experience and some of the best acting in video games. Every line that is delivered by Anton is believable, is stressful, is caring, is any of the emotions that you kind of want from a bad guy is what I got. But I just wish there was more of it.
When we get to Miami.
We'll say goodbye to Alejo. I promise.
Far Cry 6's gameplay is where the game really shines. This feels like my favourite Far Cry, which is Far Cry 3. There is a level of seriousness in its tone of obviously this world that is breaking down in front of you, and it is your job to now liberate with your cast and crew. But it's the moment-to-moment gameplay that really got me through my 35 hours of this journey. I loved everything from going around this beautiful world that you can see right now in its gameplay. It is some of the most breathtaking graphics that I've seen in a very long time. Far Cry 6's new mission system is a welcome one. I always felt in Far Cry games, just the earpiece in your ear and being spoken to about a mission never really set the tone well for what it is you were about to do in a mission. Though, don't get me wrong, that is still there throughout parts of the game. I do love the new system in when you are accepting and tracking missions, with seeing the character in its own menu system actually speak to you, the player, and explain what it is you're doing, why you're doing it, is something that I feel is a very welcome change to the Far Cry series, and one that I really enjoyed.
Time you learn about resolver, Danny.
I was 6 when I rigged my first bike with a chainsaw motor. The blockade means I have to resolver every day, Juan.
Nah, that's survival. For a guerrilla, resolver isn't just making do with what you have. It's inflicting chaos with everything you got.
Far Cry has always been about playing the game the way you want, and this year's game is no different. Customization is obviously a big part in this year's game in terms of being able to customize weapons. Customizing your weapons in how you want to play and how you're going to take down enemies is going to become a key feature in your journey in Yara. Different ammo types, different stocks, different muzzles, charms and appearances. There is a lot to look out when it comes to customization in Far Cry 6. And this doesn't just stop at one weapon. Every weapon that you come across in the game is customizable except for the special weapons. And it really does add to the level of how you play the game. Different ammo types take out different types of enemies, which is obviously very important if you're trying to play stealthily, or if you're someone like myself who just likes to run in a gun, you're still gonna need armor piercing ammo. Maybe you're gonna need some fire rounds. Maybe you're gonna need something a little bit quieter. It is all there for you and waiting in Far Cry 6. The customization doesn't only stay in guns, you can customize vehicles as well in Far Cry 6. I wasn't someone that used many vehicles during my journey in Far Cry 6, as I was too busy riding horses, using my grappling hook, or using my wingsuit to get around the world of Yara. Not to say that the driving is terrible, it isn't, but it wasn't my favourite thing to do while playing Far Cry 6.
What is this?
This is a Supremo.
The newest addition to Far Cry 6 is the Supremos, which is pretty much your specials, which may be a special weapon or this amazing special backpack that you have in the game. You will get many of these that are able to be unlocked throughout your journey of Far Cry 6. This one being actually my favourite, which is the rocket launcher. Far Cry 5 to me was a hectic mess that just became jarring after a certain amount of time. Far Cry 6 isn't that, and this is one of the main reasons why. The Supremo is pretty much your get out of jail free card to all things when it becomes a little bit too hectic. You shoot off this bad boy and a bunch of rockets pop out of your back and can blow up helicopters, tanks, vehicles, anything. This to me was one of the biggest and best additions to Far Cry 6 because it allowed me to continue my journey and keep having fun while playing video games, which is the main reason we play video games.
There. Never worked so hard for a dog's love.
Is it even a Far Cry game if you don't have your companions? In this year's game they're called amigos. If you're someone like me who gets lonely on your journeys of taking down outposts, shooting bad guys in the face, and you just want to pet a dog or a crocodile, this game has that. Amigos are a fun way to change the way you play games. Some are better at other things, some can do stealth, some can do full-on action, and there are a few options for you to unlock during your journey in Yara. If you're looking for a fun game where you run through a beautiful world with beautiful graphics, with amazing gameplay which can be stealth or action focused, with a wealth of customization options where you are picking up gear and leveling up a character, Far Cry 6 is for you. If you want to see a fantastic performance from Giancarlo Esposito as Anton in Far Cry 6, this game is for you. Though you may be left wanting a little bit more from the character and to want to spend a little bit more time with him. If you are somebody who is buying Far Cry 6 strictly for its story and expecting a deep and emotional story of you traveling through the world of Yara, maybe this one isn't for you. The story isn't what kept me going through Far Cry 6. Its amazing gameplay was. Gameplay is king in my opinion, and this game has some fantastic gameplay that made me want to spend time in its world. Thank you all for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Feedback is always wanted, so let me know in the comments below what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. And until next time, I will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Goodbye.